All right, it is time to work on the Wagoneer. I got the 90 Jeep Grand Wagoneer in the shop. I moved the J10 over here, and the reason why is because I will be dropping the gas tank on this thing. I got my little siphon hose ready down there. I need to get my gas cans. I have about 17 gallons of gas at least in there. But the Jeep is bucking and kicking, and it has no power at all if you give it any kind of throttle. It'll drive okay if you're light on the gas, but as soon as you give it like half a throttle, for example, like you're going up a hill or whatever, it just bucks and kicks and loses all power completely. The last time it ever did something like this was when I had water in the gas tank, and it feels exactly just like it did 2 years ago when I had to take the gas tank off and get 2 cups of water out of there. How did 2 cups of water get in there? I have no idea. Back then, I drove this thing all the time. It never really sat. So you can't blame it on sitting. And as a matter of fact, when I was picking the J10 up, is when it was bucking and kicking. I had the trailer behind me, no Jeep on it yet. I wasn't at the guy's house. And like 100 miles in, it just would stall and buck and kick, and luckily I got to an AutoZone. I replaced the rotor, the cap, the wires, vacuum lines, fuel filter, ignition coil, everything you can think of that you can do in an auto parts store, I did to this thing, and it would not fix it. As I was limping back home, suddenly it started working again, no problem. So I drove to the guy's house, picked up the J10, and here I am now. So flash forward 2 years later, the Jeep has been sitting for an entire year. I haven't driven it, only driven it maybe 100, 200 miles in the entire year last year. It basically sat with an empty gas tank. It had like 3 gallons, if that. The few times I did drive it, I might have put like $10 in gas in there, you know what I mean? But it basically sat for months and months and months and months and months and was never driven. And now it's doing the same shit it did 2 years ago when there was water in the tank. So how did water get in the tank this a second time? Probably from sitting and condensation building up in an empty gas tank, and eventually, I guess, building up enough in the tank to cause problems. Or it's getting in through the gas cap, because this will be the second time now. Now, I'm assuming it has water in it. So when I do drop the tank, I'll show you guys if there's water in there or not. I'm actually hoping there's water in there. I really do. Because that's easy. I can take the water out, put fresh gas in there, and not have an issue again. If it's not water, then I don't know what else to do. Vacuum lines are all replaced. There is no vacuum leak anywhere. Plugs, coil, distributor cap, rotor, everything is brand new. Fuel filter, yeah, that's been sitting for a year. The only thing I can think of is maybe the carburetor. I have never rebuilt the carburetor on this thing. Bought it 8 years ago. It's been driving fine, turns on fine. Never had a need to rebuild the carburetor. So I don't know in its 35 years if it's ever been rebuilt. So that could be a possibility that maybe the power valve or something is bad in the carburetor. So it wouldn't be the accelerator pump, because the accelerator pump would only cause like a stutter issue when you stomp on the gas for the first few seconds. The power valve is what transfers fuel to the jets and so forth when you're like on the gas all the way and you just hold it like that. And when I hold it like that, that's when I have those issues, and it feels like a fuel delivery issue. So either water or carburetor. It's the only thing I can think of. I don't really know. I do know it does have a collapsed lifter. So when it sits for a long period of time, you can hear one of the cylinders with low compression. So that might be the issue as well. Maybe one of the cylinders is finally too low on compression and it's causing problems when I'm giving the engine high throttle. I'm just throwing ideas out there now. But when I checked the compression, I think last year or a year and a half ago, it was like 135 across the board. And I think that was cold as well. So that wasn't even hot compression. So I'm pretty sure when it's warm, it'd probably be higher. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Thank you for watching.